All right, we got all the wheels off. We're sitting on jack stands. Let's raise the hood, start tearing into this bad boy, get these front strut spacers on. Okay, so before I dig in any further, one thing I forgot to mention is this will fit 2007 to 2019 Chevy Tahoe Suburban Yukon and the GMC Yukon XL, and this is the one without air ride. So if you have one with air ride and you don't know what to get, holler at Torch Off Road and they'll tell you what stuff you need to get to adjust that air ride. But this also fits two-wheel drive and four-wheel drive vehicles. So this one is a two-wheel drive. Same exact thing, same exact setup, since you don't have your front transaxle. That's the only difference. But you put everything in the exact same. So we're doing a two-wheel drive today, but you can do it for both, so keep that in mind. So next thing, it says remove the sway bar link and hardware, and remove the lower strut mount hardware, and remove the nuts from the upper strut mount. We'll walk through all that. We're going to remove the brake caliper here. We'll get it up out of the way, undo our upper ball joint. We'll spread that apart, get that strut out. All right, so we got 19 millimeter brake caliper bolts here. Those look good, actually. I think I checked these when I did the rear ones, and they look good. Now, we'll go ahead and undo this nut here. That one right there. We'll go ahead and undo it, and then we'll separate this ball joint here from the spindle. Knock this A-arm loose. Bam, that's what I'm talking about. Came right out of there. Let go. That'll help that out. Midline okay, all right. Now we'll lower down our jack. The A-arm come down. We'll push the strut out. Boom, there you go. So right here is where our new spacer is going to go. Now, in the instructions, it does reference that you may have to cut these bolts here once you get it put on, and I'm going to show you that. I had to do that on the 2016 GMC Sierra that I did. Looks like we're probably going to have to do it on this one too. They're pretty long. So let's get it up on the table and get that started. All right, so like I was saying, we may have to cut these off here. Here's a better view. You see how tall those are? Okay, so the way this works is right on top here. That's where you mount it to your top. You're gonna take your new spacer here and lay it right on those originals, okay? Now, you can see with that laying on there, we've got some sticking up here, and you can't have that because that's gonna hit where this used to mount. It's gonna hit up there, and that's gonna cause a space there that you don't want. That'll rattle around. So it'll leave a gap there, and you don't want that. So we're gonna cut that off just a little bit, and I'll show you how to do that. Okay. So I've got to put it in the vise, and what I did, go ahead and run these stock nuts back down on it a little bit. And what that's gonna do is allow you to go ahead and cut the top of these off and not bugger up the threads too bad. If you do, you can use this nut. This is what I like to do to basically rethread it. So since you're already down there, you cut this off right here. The thread's gonna be cut on the end and have a little burr. You back this nut back off and it retraces that thread. That way when you go back to put your spacer on, you're good to go. So I'm just gonna get the grinding wheel, make a cut. Now, just get your nut here, work it around, rework that thread, and now you'll be tracing it. We'll be ready to. If you're familiar with the channel at all, you'll know that this is lift kit number 4 for me, and all for Torch Off Road, level kit number 4. And this is the first one where I've been able to be inside a shop, actually have my vise, have my workbench, and actually be able to show you guys some things that you may have missed in the other videos. The other ones I was in a barely 2-car garage and in a driveway, and it just didn't work very well. So I just showed you how you cut these off to make this fit. That way the top doesn't bump into your old, whatever you call it, where these struts go up in there, the strut mount. And here's why. So here's your, you can see these deeper holes here. That goes to your stock bolts here. And then these take the new hardware from the top. What you gotta do is you gotta cut those off, like I was saying a minute ago, to where it doesn't stick up above this spacer. So now we're just gonna double check to make sure we cut enough off. I'm putting this on. Everything looks good all the way across. So these go, that's for your new, that's for the new spacer. And then these nuts, I keep saying these nuts, that's probably not good. These old ones have that wide factory washer to them. You can see that. They don't fit inside these new holes. So I'm gonna go ahead and get these secured and show you the next. All right, new spacer in. So that's pretty much it. I'll show you one more trick that we're gonna have to do before we put it back in. It'll save you a lot of time. Reposition, head to abort. It's not going as planned. This is the way to do it though, I ain't kidding. It just ain't wanting to work with me. All right, new strut spacer on. Time to put it back up in there. Make sure that the top ones are lined up like they're supposed to be. And then I'll leave them loose, that way I can still work it around. And then we'll put the bottom ones in, because those are always a pain in the butt. And we'll put the bottom ones in, get those tighten the top up, and get everything else buttoned up, and then start on the other side. Okay, so the driver's side is done. I'm gonna go ahead and skip over to the passenger side, just knock it out real quick, and then we'll get going on the back and see what all it's gonna take.